Episode 1. What is Xin Zhai? A spiritual practice beyond appearances. Hi dear audience, welcome back to our Zhuangzi interpretation series. Today, we're officially diving deep into the theme of Xin Zhai. After we picked this topic last episode, many of you left comments saying you're curious about this ancient spiritual practice. Some also wondered if Xin Zhai is the same as the fasting we usually talk about. Let's take a moment to clarify this core question first. First, let's clarify where Xin Zhai comes from. This concept is derived from Zhuangzi, human world, a specific passage where Confucius has a conversation with his disciple Yan Hui. Interestingly, Yan Hui initially planned to assist a tyrant by adhering to the principle of restraining himself and returning to rituals. Confucius thought this approach was completely useless and would even put Yan Hui's life at risk. So he proposed the spiritual practice of Xin Zhai, telling Yan Hui, true strength isn't about changing the outside world, but about adjusting and aligning your inner self. Here we need to distinguish two concepts, physical fasting and Xin Zhai. The fasting we traditionally know, like avoiding alcohol and meat in religious rituals, or purifying the body before sacrifices, falls into physical fasting. It achieves reverence or purity by restricting physical behaviors. But Zhuangzi's Xin Zhai goes far beyond the physical. It's a pure spiritual purification and focus. Zhuangzi said, Xin Zhai means when the empty chamber is pure, light arises and auspiciousness abides. This sentence captures the core of Xin Zhai. Empty chamber doesn't mean an empty heart, but clearing away excess distractions, prejudices, desires, and fixed perceptions, just like cleaning a cluttered room to let sunlight shine in naturally. When your heart becomes clear, a sense of auspiciousness and peace will settle down on its own. Some of you might think this sounds a bit abstract, like it's just about emptying yourself, but that's not the case at all. Ordinary emptiness is merely about diverting your attention, while Xin Zhai is about reshaping your inner cognitive model. When we look at the world and interact with others, we always carry our own experiences, likes, dislikes, and obsessions, subconsciously judging right and wrong, or habitually labeling people we meet. These are all clutters in the heart, preventing us from seeing the essence of things and truly connecting with our true selves. In this episode, we've built a basic understanding of Xin Zhai. It's not a negative way to escape reality, but an active spiritual practice centered on emptiness and purity. Next episode, we'll break down the specific practice path of Xin Zhai and see how Zhuangzi teaches us to clear the clutters in our hearts, step by step, to truly achieve when the empty chamber is pure, light arises. See you next time. Hi everyone, welcome back to our Xin Zhai interpretation series. Last episode we gained a clear understanding that Xin Zhai is a form of spiritual purification. Today let's shift to something more practical. How exactly do we practice Xin Zhai as described by Zhuangzi in his works? In Zhuangzi Human World, Confucius explained the practice steps of Xin Zhai to Yan Hui in detail. These steps can be summed up into 3 levels, moving from the outside to the inside. Let's break them down one by one. The first level is listening with the ears, the most basic form of sensory cognition. We usually receive external information through our ears and eyes, like hearing someone talk or seeing what's in front of us. This is just passive sensory reception, which is superficial. Ears can only capture sounds, not the essence behind them, let alone our true inner feelings. Then comes the second level, listening with the heart. The heart here isn't the mood we talk about today, but our inner awareness. When we move from listening with the ears to listening with the heart, we stop passively receiving information and start feeling and empathizing with awareness. For example, when someone speaks, we don't just listen to the words, we perceive their emotions and needs. When we see something, we don't rush to judge, but notice our own inner reactions. Essentially, this level turns us from passive receivers to active perceivers, helping us focus on the connection between our inner self and the world. But listening with the heart isn't the ultimate state of Xin Zhai. Zhuangzi believed that the highest level of this practice is listening with Ki-ai. Ki-ai here is a core concept in Zhuangzi's thought. It refers to the fundamental energy that runs through all things in heaven and earth, and also represents the purest, truest state of our hearts. It is neither good nor evil, neither happy nor sad, unshackled by any distractions, and in perfect harmony with the universe. Listening with Ki means returning our hearts to the natural state of Ki-wai, no longer deliberately capturing information with our ears or awareness, but letting everything flow naturally. Our heart becomes like a bright, clear mirror, reflecting all things without clinging to any of them. Simply put, these 3 steps are letting go of sensory obsessions, letting go of judgmental awareness, and finally returning to true clarity. You might ask, this sounds abstract. How to practice it daily? It's actually simple. For example, when eating, put down your phone and stop daydreaming. Focus on the taste and texture of the food. That's moving from listening with the ears to listening with the heart. Another example, when you're upset, don't get stuck in the emotion, acknowledge it, and let it fade. That's getting closer to listening with Ki-wai. In this episode, we've mastered the practice path of Xin Zhai. Next episode, we'll explore its significance for modern people. What changes can Xin Zhai bring to our lives in this impetuous world? See you next episode. Hi dear audience, today we're wrapping up our in-depth interpretation of Zhuangzi's Xin Zhai. In the past 2 episodes, we've explored the essence of this practice and learned some practical methods to apply it. Today, let's talk about the most practical part. What can this 2,000-year-old spiritual practice do for our modern lives? First, Xin Zhai helps us resist impetuosity and gain inner peace. Our lives are now too fast. We're surrounded by work, social media, and an avalanche of information every day. Our hearts are like cluttered rooms, chaotic, and hard to find true peace. The core of Xin Zhai is clearing distractions. When we let go of unnecessary obsessions, desires, and comparisons, the impetuosity in our hearts fades. As Zhuangzi said, when the empty chamber is pure, light arises. When your heart is clear, peace comes naturally. This peace isn't numbness from escaping reality, but keeping your own rhythm amid hustle and bustle. Second, Xin Zhai helps us see the essence and make wiser choices. In daily life, our decisions are often influenced by emotions, prejudices, and others' opinions, like choosing a job based on others' views instead of our own passion, or making choices driven by desire and forgetting our original intention. The clarity from Xin Zhai lets us break free from these interferences, see the essence of things, and understand our true inner needs, just like the state of listening with Ki-ai. Not judging or clinging blindly helps us make choices that align with our true selves. Moreover, Xin Zhai helps us accept imperfection and reconcile with ourselves. We often tend to be overly hard on ourselves, dwelling on past mistakes, feeling anxious about the unknown future, or being dissatisfied with our current selves. Xin Zhai teaches us to return to our true nature, to accept our own imperfections, and embrace the impermanence of life. When your heart reaches the state of emptiness advocated by Zhuangzi, you no longer cling to the pursuit of perfection, nor do you experience excessive emotional fluctuations because of gains and losses. This ability to reconcile with yourself is our core strength in resisting the anxieties of modern life. Xin Zhai teaches us to return to our true nature, to accept our own imperfections, and embrace the impermanence of life. When your heart reaches the state of emptiness advocated by Zhuangzi, you no longer cling to the pursuit of perfection, nor do you experience excessive emotional fluctuations because of gains and losses. This ability to reconcile with yourself is our core strength in resisting the anxieties of modern life. Finally, Xin Zhai isn't an overnight practice or an unrealistic fantasy. It's a life attitude integrated into daily life. Focus on eating when you eat, focus on working when you work, accept troubles when they come, and stay sober when you succeed. As Zhuangzi pursued, in a complex world, we should uphold our true hearts and live a clear, free life. That's all for our interpretation of Zhuangzi's Xin Zhai. We sincerely hope these 3 episodes have brought you some inspiration and insights. Next, which topic would you like to hear about next? Welcome to leave your comments below. See you in the next episode.